Howdy team, we are on Access Chapter 2. We're working on a relationship in Step 8. We want to go to the 5th tab, Database Tools, click Relationships, and we can click the Show Table dialog box. When we do that, we're telling Access that we want to add these 3 tables. So we click Donations Table, Donors Table, and Plants Table. And it's here that we can build a question query across those tables. I do like to make my tables a little bit longer. I just click and drag so I can see all the information that's in them. Close the Show Table dialog box, which we did. I apologize for not showing you that. Create a one-to-many relationship between the donor ID. Careful here. Everything starts with D. So donor ID and the donors from the donors table, okay, and the donor ID in the donation table. So I'm going to make sure my tables are in the right order. I want the donors table first. I'm going to grab up here at the white and put that, just move those with my mouse. And I'm going to make the donations table next and the plant table third. Now, do realize, look what it's saying. It's saying donor ID to donor ID. So I'm going to click on donor ID in the donors table and drag to donor ID in the donations table. Do notice how I get that plus on my mouse. That's exactly what we want. And now our relationship shows that we have the donor ID from the donors table related to the donations table and donor ID. Next, we're asked to click Enforce Referential Integrity. That's right there. And select the option to Cascade Update. Hopefully you can see that just a little bit. Cascade Update Related Fields, which is this one. We don't want to delete. We want related. And then once we hit Create, we have a line showing that we have a one-to-many infinite relationship on donor ID to donor ID. Okay, and that's the end of Step 8. We are still in the Relationship and Design Tools window, and we're being asked to make a one-to-many relationship between the plant ID field in the plant table. So that's this one that's highlighted right here. And the plant ID field in the donations table over here. So we'll click and hold and drag plants to plant ID. And we have a one-to-many relationship with plants plant ID and the donations table in its plant ID. We're asked to click and enforce referential integrity and also select the option to cascade update on related fields. We go create. We again have a one-to-many relationship, and as you see, we're tied now. And then we save this relationship window, right-click and save. And we close the relationship window, and we have completed Step 9. Step 10, we're asked to create a query using the Simple Query Wizard. We're going to come up here to the 3rd tab and click Create. And then we have our Query Wizard. Oh, you're going to like it. It works so well. Click Query Wizard. And then we are asked to create a Simple Query Wizard. So we just let default on that first top choice. And then it says from the donations table, add the donor field. Now notice we're still on the plants table. We want to hit the pull down window and hit donations. On the donations table, add the donor ID. You click it and you hit the chevron to add. And then we want the donations amount. If we were going to add all fields, we would hit the double chevrons, but we've been asked to add 2 specific fields. Ensure the query is a detail query. So let's go next. And we are to what type of detail or summary query. We want a detail query. And name the query. What title do you want it? Donations over $100. So we're just going to type over 100 and finish the wizard. We click finish. and our query's made right there in our all access objects, and our query is open and has run. Donor number 24 donated $120, and donator 14 donated $125. View the query in design view. So right now we are in datasheet view. We're going to come over to home, come over to view, and hit design. Then set the criteria for the donation amount field so that only donations greater than $100, all right, and that should look like this, greater than 100, are displayed. So we're going to come to donations amount field, that's the second column, and we're going to go to criteria, and we're just going to type shift and greater than, which is your period, and 100. That's it for step 11. All right, I did hit the enter button to come out of our criteria previously on step 11, and now it says sort the query in ascending order for the donation amount. So we have still our second column is our second field of donations. If you click the sort row and click the down chevron, you want to pick ascending order, so it's going to put the smallest money amounts first and the biggest money amounts last. Save this query. I'm going to come over here and hit donations and hit save, and then we're asked to run it. And this is the fun part. In design, come over here and hit the big exclamation for run. Ta-da! Donor number 14 donated $125. So that's pretty cool. We've got our amounts of greater than 100. I'm going to save this, right click and save. I'm going to close this, right click and close, and that's the end of step 12. Create a new query in step 13 in design view. So we're going to go create. And notice how last time we used query wizard, this time we're going to take in the query panel the second one, query design, and add the donations table, so I'll double click, the donors table, I'll double click, and the plans table. We're all done with the show table dialog box, and we're going to close. I mentioned to you last time that I like to expand my tables that I add to my stage so I know what I'm working with and I can see all those fields. Next it says add the donations date field. Let's get it from the right one, from the donations table. So here's donations table, here's donations date. I can double click or I can click and drag. Add the donor's last name and first name and fields. Let's see, donor's last name, first name, and fields from the donors table. So that's a different table. We need to add last name, which is right here. I'm going to click and drag this time so you can see how that looks. And then first name, I'm going to double click. And then phone number, I'm going to click and drag. So we have 4 new fields, all in step 11, added in query 1. Still working in query 1, add the donation amount, here it is, from the donation table. So donation table is way over here. Donation amount is the last one. I'm going to double click and it'll throw it in that open field. And then add the plant name. Oh wait, after the phone field. Yeah, it went right after the phone field, see? Okay, and then add the plant name from the plant table. Okay, so our plant table is last. Plant name, I'm just going to click and drag so you can see how that works. And we have now 6 fields. And step 14 is complete. Step 15 says sort the query in descending order by the date of donation. So here is our donation date. It's this first field. And we're going to come on the sort row, click that sort row so we get a pull down menu. And we want to sort descending by the date of donation, and then last name of the donor, we sort by ascending. So descending is the most recent date, the biggest one, Ascending is alphabetical order A to Z. Save the query with the name plant pickup list. So we're going to come up here to query, click our tab, right click, hit save, and the pop-up name save as pops up. We're going to type plant. We will add spaces in this name, pick up and list, and then click OK, and you'll see it appear over here on the left side under donations over 100. And we're going to run the query. Here it comes, the fun part with the exclamation point. Click run. The query runs. And if you can't see between fields, you of course can double click those column headers so you can see them more clearly. And we had success, and we're going to close that query. Did we save? Oops, we want to save, and now we're all done with step 15. Next, we're asking step 16 to copy the plant pickup list query. So that's just the one we just made, right? We're going to click to identify the plant pickup list over in our all access objects. We're going to right click and then say copy. We want to paste it using e-newsletter as our new query name. So I'm going to just right click in all access objects, hit paste, and it's going to say, what do you want to call it? Well, e-newsletter, of course. Click OK. And that's the name of our new query right here, e-newsletter. End of step 16. All right, we're asked to open the e-newsletter query in step 17. You can double click it and change your view from data sheet to design, or you can right click it and go straight on into design view. It says delete the donation date column. Well, donation date column's that first one. I'm going to click it. I'm going to right click it and just click cut. It's gone. Add a newsletter field to the first column of the design grid. So I'm going to go ahead and click over here and move it. Let's do that. E-newsletter. And then I'm just going to grab that whole column and move it. See, I clicked it, I dragged, and look at that big black line. That's saying where my column's going to end, up, and I just let go, and it just moved all over the place, didn't it? Well, let's try again. That was just silly. I'm going to, teachers make mistakes too. I'm going to click it to identify it. I'm going to click, hold, and drag it. Maybe I talked about it too long. There we go. E-newsletter is now our first column. And so let's see. Field column to design grid. We did that. Set it to sort at ascending order. So we're going to click assort on our e-newsletter and ascending. So that the query sorts first by e-newsletter, then by last name. Run it. Yay! And save it. Of course we're going to save it. Right click newsletter, save. Right click and close. Step 18, make sure you've closed all database objects. Your stage is clear. Go ahead, exit access, and submit it for grading. Way to go, team. I'm proud of you.